matriarch. She is the boss. She definitely tells those boys what to do. Obviously, she's loving her nice little back massage from both Jackie and Emily over here. She seems very relaxed. So killer whales are mammals like you and I, which means they breathe air. So they breathe a blowhole on the top of their head. That's also where they make all their vocalizations from. Their mouths are a one-way ticket to their stomachs. Okay? They swallow their food whole. They do not chew their food. So their mouths go directly to their stomachs. They breathe and make noises with their blowhole on the top of their head. Killer whales can hold their breath up to 13 to 15 minutes. Our whales typically tend to breathe once a minute. Leah's making some of those vocalizations over there. That blowhole is a muscle that they can manipulate and then either push air out or take air in, and that's how they can make a whole different bunch of vocalizations. Some really low ones, some really high ones. Killer whales communicate amongst their pod through a series of clicks and whistles. We have just been fortunate enough to attach it to a hand signal. We communicate with the whales through sign language. Basically, it's a sign language that we created, whatever hand signal we wanted to come up with, or some kind of body movement. So mimicry type behavior. When I turn a circle, my whale will turn the circle, and vice versa. What you got? Yes. Killer whales can hear. They just hear at higher frequencies than what we speak. They actually have excellent hearing. So that's why we communicate through those hand signals. All right, get your cameras ready. I think Malia's going to be doing a vertical jump right in front of Morgan. She's going to do a nice big run, get up a lot of speed. Remember that she's over 5,000 pounds, up and out of the water. Here she comes. 3, 2, 1. Great job! Woo, woo, woo! So our whales eat about 100 to 150 pounds each a day of fish. They get Caitlin, they get Harry, and their favorite treat is salmon. It is all restaurant quality fish. It's the same quality of fish you guys eat. They just get hundreds of pounds of it. Once our males are fully grown, they will be eating well over 200 pounds of fish each a day. Watching Cheryl, her trainer, very closely, just kind of mimicking or copying her through those body movements. Killer whales are very tactile animals, meaning they can feel every touch on their body. Yeah. She's a pretty mermaid. We call that behavior mermaid. So I was talking about how tactile they are. Killer whales do shed skin cells just like you and I. They just shed them a lot faster than we do. So that's why you'll constantly see them rubbing up on the environment, rubbing up on each other. And then of course they love it when we can help them out with those belly rubs, tail blue rubs, back massages. Those are some of those vocalizations. Katina's showing off for you guys over here. Again, coming from the blowhole on the top of her head. Very nice. Good job, Katina. What you got, Cheryl? Couple other interesting facts that not many people know. Probably the most important thing we do with our whales is what's called husbandry. That means, it's a fancy term, that means anything that maintains the health and well-being of our animals. I already talked about the physicals that they get with our veterinary staff. We also brush our whales' teeth 2 times a day. I hope everyone brushes their teeth 2 times a day, at least. Yes, killer whales only get 1 set of teeth their whole lives. They are not like sharks that constantly get new teeth. They only get 1 set of teeth. They can have up to 52 teeth. So we want to make sure those teeth stay as healthy as possible. A tooth infection is a big cause of killer whale deaths out in the wild. So we want to prevent any type of infections from happening by brushing their teeth. We use a device that's almost like a water pick. We have a chlorhexidine water solution that we flush around every tooth to get any fish bits out to make sure that they they stay as healthy as possible. We also weigh our whales. That's how I know how much each of them weigh. We weigh them every other week. If you look across the way, we have a giant silver platform just on the surface of the water. That is our killer whale scale. We ask them to slide their bodies up and onto the scale. And then it's very important that they raise their tails. That ensures us that their whole body weight is on that scale. If they left their tail in the water, it'd be like you guys stepping on the scale with only 1 foot. It would be cheating. They have to get their whole weight of their body up onto that scale. All of our whales also do voluntary urine samples, fecal samples, voluntary ultrasounds. They all get quarterly dental x-rays. Basically anything you guys do in a doctor's office, our whales will participate in their own health care and we do with them in the water. We also do other different types of interactions like learning interactions. All of our whales are still learning new behaviors. Even Katina, at her age of 45, is still learning new behaviors. You guys get to see an orca encounter presentation. That is our show presentation. That basically accumulates every different type of interaction that we do throughout the day. Probably my favorite thing we get to do with our whales is play with them. They're very playful creatures. For those of you sitting over here, you can actually look across the way and see one of our toy boxes that we have around the facility. We have many different types of industrial strength toys. Our toys do have to go through an approval process with our veterinarian staff to make sure they are strong enough for our whales. Our whales also really seem to enjoy ice cubes, ice blocks, and they also seem to enjoy gelatin or Jello. I know that sounds silly. It's a sugar-free, unflavored gelatin. Tastes terrible to you and I. Killer whales don't care about taste. All right, get your cameras here, right here for Katina. 3, 2, 1. There. Alright, those of you here. Alana's going to be doing a chain jump, vertical jump. We call it an alien. I'll try my best to count it down for you. This is one of our deeper pools. It's 26 feet deep, so it's 1 and 2 stories of a house. And Alana's going all the way around down to the bottom. Pick up speed to get all of herself out of the water. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Very nice. We do have 3 more orca encounter presentations today at 3:30, 5:30, and 7:30. There's Melina. Very awesome. We definitely encourage you to check them out and see these whales in action. I hope you guys have enjoyed.